Hey boys and welcome back to another Bleach Brave Soul video, and today we have a top 5 list, only 5 because I couldn't think of 10, top 5 characters that completely changed the game on their release, or completely broke the game on their release. Now the nature of this list, it's mainly going to be old characters, and if I leave anyone out on this list that you think deserves to be in this kind of list, then just let me know in the comments below and we can kind of start a discussion. So that being said, if you guys are new here, make sure you subscribe, and if you do like these kind of videos, make sure you like it too. So let's start off the list.
己の揺らくに命をかけの人生に何の意味がある
Coming in number 5, we have Tokinada. So Tokinada is ultimately the best character in the game, in my opinion. That's why he's on this list. There's nothing this character can't do. The reason, however, he's only number 5 and not number 1, because remember, this isn't a top 5 character list. This is how they've affected the game. This character, Tokinada, changed the way I viewed NAD characters. Now, I always like to play with NAD characters every now and then, but let's be honest, they're not as fun as SP characters. You can see that in my past showcases whenever I showcase a NAD character. They're fun for the most part, but it's pretty much only their NAD string that you care about. However, Tokinada, being a range character with a second strong type that can boost, a transforming special, a character that just visually looks good as is, but the main thing about him being a ranged character with guard break and flurry and like a high bruiser just means he can do anything in the game with ease. You can take him into the co-op, and normally I don't bring normal attack characters in the co-op, but this character is an exception. I'll bring this character anywhere, and I'll have fun doing it with ease. You've seen many videos in the past with this character on my channel. I've autoed extreme co-op with this character. I took him into PvP. I brought him into guild quests. I complete every floor of Warrior's Path with this character, the ones you can actually go into. This character right here is an absolute beast, and that's why he's number 5. But you might wonder, why is he so low? Well, the reason why I put him at number 5 is because, as good as he is, you somewhat don't really need him. He's definitely a character that you want to have, but with the way the game has progressed over the years, he came out at a time where he was OP, like still to this day, best character in the game, but you can live without him. Now, if we compare that to other characters in the list when they came out, if you didn't have that character, you are definitely going to struggle in a lot of content, and you'll miss out on a lot of stuff, right? So that's why he's number 5, because of the way the game's changed. Yes, he's the best character in the game, in my opinion, but there are also very, very good characters up there with him that it doesn't really matter if you don't have him.
Shit! Pantera!
Number 4 is going to OG Speed Grimmjow. So this character right here has a legacy. If you didn't have this character back in the day, you really did want him, because the meta back then was completely different. Nowadays, when we get characters, they're clearly meant for types of content. For example, if we look at Red Kenpachi, he is clearly meant to be a PvP character because of the skills and everything about him, right? He's clearly meant to be used in PvP. Back then, we didn't really have that. Character came out and they were just overall good for PvE and PvP type of content. Grimmjow being one of the better characters. His nat string was very fast. He also had a range attack on that last hit. He was just an overall good character. He pretty much made red characters non-existent in PvP, and he made green characters kind of usable. Even OG Tessai, the Menno Strange character that you probably never used if you bought him recently, he was actually usable back then to take on the Grimmjows. And the same can be said for Niers back. Him being a green character just meant he was able to take on the Grimmjow. Now, I think for the first month or two, only Heart and Speed characters were able to get Chappies. This meant if you did have Grimmjow and a Chappie, you were just able to dominate PvP type of content and PvE type of content. It was just a cakewalk with his character. Now, sometime after his 6-star, he started to fall off a bit, and nowadays he's really not usable, and that's why he's number 4. He had a legacy for the first year of the game. He was a must-have. Many people wanted him. He was a fan favorite, and over time, with age, he's just slowly started to fall off, and that's fine. He lasted a long time, and he will go down as the first king of Bleach Brave Souls. Number 3 is going to Speed Kenpachi. Now, before we do talk about this character and the impact he had on the game, let's quickly talk about the other Kenpachis and do a quick history lesson, right? So Kenpachi back in the day was actually never very good. The red one came out on release. He was okay. I think he was worse than the other characters, especially because he didn't have a damage and special. People just didn't really consider him an OP character. Same goes for Kendo Ken. Many people obviously liked Kenpachi, and that was the main reason I went for him. However, just compared to other characters, he was quite slow. He wasn't really fun to play. He really wasn't anything good, right? However, that all changed when 6-star evolution started to happen. Now, Kenpachi, I believe the Red Kenpachi was one of the first characters to get the 6-star evolution, and he was also the first character to get the Flurry and Poise skill. This pretty much started the trend of NAD characters wanting Poise. Obviously, back then, we also had Dangai and stuff come out after that. They didn't really need Poise to be good NAD characters, but Kenpachi pretty much was the start of the Flurry meta that we now have nowadays, right? So after the Power and Tech Kenpachi 6-star evolutions, where they both received the Flurry and Poise skill, pretty much Flurry and Poise became synonymous to the Kenpachi character. Unfortunately, that didn't follow through with the White Day Kenpachi, but we don't talk about him. So during this time, we were all waiting for the next Kenpachi to come out with you know, flurry and poise. So when Speed Kenpachi finally dropped, it was the character we were all waiting for, and he did surprise us, right? We weren't ready for this character. Broken came out, and he pretty much started the trend of characters being specifically made for PvP. So when he dropped, he had flurry, poise, DR. DR was also starting to become the trend of PvP, and 2 weeks before his release, we got the 20 DR Mashiro, so that just further pushed the Broken meta. He had a second strong attack that was the first of its kind to be a boost, but also be a damage and strong attack, so no one was ready for this character, and he received the name Broken. Now, with this team, the Red, Power, and Speed Kenpachi, it was so dominant that Caleb themselves even threw an Easter egg in the game. Now, I'm not sure if it's like that on the Japanese version, but I know in the global version, if you have 3 Kenpachis in your team, you get the bonus called Broken, and it's literally spelled how many of us do spell broken. So that's just the impact this character had. He had such an impact on the game that the name the community gave to this character even made it into the game as a small Easter egg. Now, Caleb have never done anything like this since, but it was a nice thing they did do. It was quite cool, and unfortunately, probably never going to see that again because, you know, Caleb are being Caleb. But that was number 2, Kenpachi, a very good character, and definitely left his mark in this game.
さよなら。世界でただ一人。私を喜ばせた人よ。
Number 2 is going to Yashiro Unohana. So why is she above Broken? Well, obviously, besides being better, I feel like the impact she had on this game is just unmatched. So Broken came out, and he was a very, very, very good PvP character. For PvE type of content, I think you still used him every now and then, but the difference between Yachiru and Broken is just insane. So when Yachiru came out, she became a PP character we never thought we'd see. She was everything Broken had and just made it better. She had Flurry, Poise, DR, like Broken, but she also had a better Nat string, a faster Nat string, a healing strong attack, a healing special move that could also instant kill. She was just insane. She also had a usable killer, by the way. She had Captain Killer, which at the time, most of the characters in the PvP were captains, including all 3 Kenpachis. It was just insane the things she can do in PvP, and that's not even to mention everything she could do for PvE. When she came out, she literally autoed everything. I'm pretty sure someone made a video or some kind of list where she literally autoed every single piece of content in the game. Now, nowadays, that might not be impressive because most characters can do that, but back then, that was quite impressive. Literally, everything you wanted to do, she could have just autoed it. Now, another reason why she's above Kenpachi in this list is because of the counters Caleb have done. Caleb haven't done this for any character since, right? Nowadays, when we get a counter, it's pretty much only 1, and they pretty much normally do the job. However, with Yachiru Unohana, they released like 5 characters. Now, I don't know the exact number, but they'll be on the screen right now. So many characters that counter Yachiru Unohana, and they all failed. Unfortunately, they're still doing it to this day. The Shusuke Amega that just came out, who doesn't really see a place in PvP, absolutely destroys Yachiru Unohana because of the way he's built. And even before he came out, we had the Noitora, who was the first like proper counter to Yachiru Unohana. And to make matters worse, a few months after his release, we got 4th anniversary Ichigo, who was literally the definition of a hard counter. She doesn't let Yachiru Unohana heal. She doesn't let Unohana do damage to him. Like, he's just a hard counter. He's like the Wonder Wise to Yamamoto. Literally just absolutely blocks everything Yachiru Unohana does. So that is the number 2 spot, Yachiru Unohana. Legacy is unmatched. No character really did what she done. Honestly, it's quite insane. So now let's talk about the number 1 spot. So before we do get into the number 1 spot of the video, I want to mention 3 cards that I think deserve an honorable mention, and that is Dangai Ichigo, 1000 Year Blood War Toshiro, and OG Power Baragon. These 3 characters were very good on their release. I was originally going to include 1000 Year Blood War Toshiro because his kit was just very good. And even to this day, after like 2 years, he's still like top 5 power cards in the game. That is impressive nonetheless. But unfortunately, just didn't make the cut because I only made it a top 5. OG Baragon was actually very good, especially when we did receive the new Soul Bomb update in PvP, where it started to appear very, very often, and that pretty much kickstarted the dodge meta. And Baragon was pretty much the king of that. And then we have Dangai Ichigo, who's overall a fan favorite character, very good and pretty much usable in all types of content, PvP, PvE. And yeah, that are the 3 honorable mentions. Now let's get into the number 1 spot. And coming at number 1, to no one's surprise, or maybe even a surprise to some people, we have TLA Ichigo. This character right here, absolutely insane. He completely changed the SP meta, and that's for 2 reasons. 1, it was the strong attacks he did have, and 2, it was the new update that followed this character. So before this update, before this character came out, TLA Ichigo, we really didn't have any good accessories for SP characters, and there was a big debate on who was better, SP characters or normal attack characters. In my opinion, it was normal attack characters because the damage they can just do, you really didn't have to wait for your strong attacks to come back. You can pretty much just use your Nat string and just complete anything that you wanted to do. And this is coming off the Broken, right? So the normal attack meta or the attack meta was just very, very very, you know, prominent, right? Now, when this character came out TLH ago, we started to get characters with good actual strong attacks. I believe those are the first characters in the game to have a full screen strong attack with Frenzy, and that was something that we never saw before, and it was absolutely insane. The range this character had. Honestly, if you didn't have him, you were going to be left out. I remember the morning this character dropped, we had Extreme Co-op, and like everyone was just running him. If you didn't have him, you know, it sucks to be you, and I unfortunately didn't have him at least until the 2nd anniversary. So going back to the update I was talking about, after this character dropped, we did get the new update that came with new accessories to make SP characters even better. So that update alongside with this character just completely made SP characters the meta, and that's exactly what we see nowadays. Back then, I used to use normal type characters. Full Hollow Ichigo Broken used to be my go-to for PvE content. Now, these normal type characters, unless your name's Tokinada, I mainly only use normal type characters in epic raids and PvP. Nowadays, I always use SP characters, and that all started from that TL Ichigo's release, when he pretty much made SP characters the meta for PvE type of content. And that was the video. Hope you guys did enjoy it. Hopefully, I explained myself quite well. I know I do talk quite fast, so I apologize if I was talking fast or rapping at certain parts. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy the video, show some support by liking the video. If you guys are new here, make sure you do subscribe, and I'll see you lads in the next one. Peace.